I love to sail along the Larian Lake under the shore, though not to visit Pliny, to catch him musing in his plane tree walk, or fishing, as he might be, from his window and, to deal plainly, may his shade forgive me. Could I recall the ages past, and play the fool with time, I should perhaps reserve my leisure for Catullus on his lake, though to fare worse, or Virgil at his farm a little further on the way to Mantua, but such things cannot be. So I sit still, and let the boatman shift his little sail, his sail so forked and so swallow-like, well pleased with all that comes. The morning air plays on my cheek how gently, flinging round a silvery gleam, and now the purple mists rise like a curtain, now the sun looks out, filling, overflowing with his glorious light this noble amphitheatre of hills, and now appear as on the Phosphor numberless barks, from Milan, from Pavia, some sailing up, some down, and some at rest, lading, unlading at that small port town under the promontory, its tall tower and long flat roofs, just such as Gaspar drew, caught by a sunbeam slanting through a cloud, a key-like scene, glittering and full of life, and doubled by reflection. What delight, after so long a sojourn in the wild, to hear once more the peasant at his work, but in a clime like this where is he not? Along the shores, among the hills 'tis now the heyday of the vintage, all abroad, but most the young and of the gentler sex, busy in gathering, all among the vines, some of the ladder, and some underneath, filling their baskets of green wicker work, while many a canzonet and frolic laugh come through the leaves, the vines in light festoons from tree to tree, the trees in avenues, and every avenue a covered walk hung with black clusters. 'Tis enough to make the sad man merry, the benevolent one melt into tears, so general is the joy. While up and down the cliffs, over the lake, wains oxen drawn and panniered mules are seen, laden with grapes and dropping rosy wine. Here I received from thee, Basilico, one of those courtesies so sweet, so rare when, as I rambled through thy vineyard ground on the hillside, thy little son was sent, charged with a bunch almost as big as he, to press it on the stranger. May thy vats overflow, and he, thy willing gift-bearer, live to become a giver, and, at length, when thou art full of honor and would rest, the staff of thine old age in a strange land, such things, however trivial, reach the heart, and throw the heart the head, clearing away the narrow notions that grow up at home, and in their place grafting goodwill to all. At least I found it so, nor less at eve, when, bidden as a lonely traveler, 'twas by a little boat that gave me chase with oar and sail. As homeward bound I crossed the bay of Tremezine, right readily I turned my prow and followed, landing soon where steps of purest marble met the wave, where, through the trellises and corridors, soft music came as from Armida's palace, breathing enchantment o'er the woods and waters, and through a bright pavilion, bright as day, forms such as hers were flitting, lost among such as of old in sober pomp swept by, such as adorn the triumphs and the feasts by Paolo painted, where a fairy queen, that night her birth night, from her throne received young as she was, no floweret in her crown, hyacinth or rose, so fair and fresh as she our willing vows, and by the fountain side led in the dance, disporting as she pleased, under a starry sky, while I looked on, as in a glade of Kashmir or Shiraz, reclining, quenching my sherbet in snow, and reading in the eyes that sparkled round, the thousand love adventures written there. Can I forget? No, never, such a scene so full of witchery. Night lingered still, when, with a dying breeze, I left Bellagio, but the strain followed me, and still I saw thy smile, Angelica, and still I heard thy voice, once and again bidding adieu.